the Amplifying Leadership podcast, a place where my guests and I discuss leadership topics by sharing their stories, challenges, wins, and more. My name is Tara Lehman, and I'm a partner, coach, and consultant at Twin Life Coaching and Business Services, of which Amplifying Leadership is a division. For our leadership clients, we love to support you with tools, coaching, learning, and information through all of our leadership services. To learn more about Amplifying Leadership and our leadership community, please visit us at amplifyingleadership.ca. Today, I am welcoming Elona Lopari. Elona is a speaker, author, and CEO of The Life School, where visionary leaders grow their purpose through alignment, branding, marketing, sales, and their team. Welcome to the show, Elona.
Thank you so much, Tara. Thanks so much for having me. Looking forward to having a chat on your show and looking forward to serving your audience today.
Awesome. Great. Well, why don't we start obviously with a little bit about you? I know that you're known a bit as a business catalyst. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about that and your leadership journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start from some of the most meaningful moments without making this very long. I'm natively Albanian. So I moved to the U.S., specifically New York, 25 years ago when I was 15. So, of course, through that journey, I climbed the corporate ladder 15 years. I was pretty much following what a lot of the culture around me was dictating as far as the American dream, a lot of what my parents told me. Because we moved here from a small country in Europe. So obviously they were looking for opportunities. That was the reason why they moved us here. So I did that. I graduated business management and finance, and I climbed the corporate ladder for 15 years. And I was pretty successful. I was always very ambitious. I was always looking to grow. So every time that a new opportunity arose, I took it because I want to learn, right? So that's kind of how my journey went for those 15 years. I was very blessed to be in a growing company, and I did marketing, sales, executive leadership, HR. Executive leadership was my latest role in the retail industry. So I was leading large teams. However, just like anything, that journey was coming to an end because the company was purchased by another company. So the culture turned more of a toxic, profit-driven culture. So everybody was starting to be seen as a number. I no longer felt aligned with the values. So I said, okay, I think I don't want to do another 9 to 5 and just go find another, similar career in another company or industry in the same industry. So I said, I will start my own business. So that is how that journey started. And also the journey to personal development, because there was a lot of uncertainty at that time for me, a lot of letting go of status quo. And, I only knew that environment for so many years. It was kind of scary to go out on your own and kind of see the big world. And it's like, where do I fit in? I knew I was experienced, but I'm like, where do I start? Like, who do I?
Yeah, exactly.
How does it even begin? So that's kind of where my personal development journey started. I did some executive coaching, and then I did career coaching for a little bit because I still wanted to come out of the corporate environment. I was like almost like a child rebelling against all of that.
I love that.
To help everyday people. I wanted to see for myself like where I fit in and what kind of work did I actually want to do that was meaningful for me. Because one of the very common denominators for me is if I don't understand what I'm working towards or how it actually impacts others or how it, makes a contribution or the bigger picture, I usually tend to get discouraged or lost in that. And I just don't have that drive or motivation to kind of work and do the things that you need to really to get towards it. So very early on, that is what I said. I said, I'm going to build my own purpose-driven company. I love helping people. I discovered personal development, and I had done a lot of work with mentors of my inner world, so to speak, reevaluating my life, recreating new values, washing away from some of the things that no longer served me and all of that. So long story short, after that, I've been positioned in the business aspect of things and looking at where my strong business acumen lied. I now help CEOs and seasoned entrepreneurs grow legacy purpose-driven companies, I should say.
Nice.
through the foundational frameworks that now I have seen from my work over 20 years being in the industry of branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team, so they can maximize their impact, but also do more good in the world, and also find their profit with that, which is important.
Yeah, very. So I want to touch back on something you said earlier, because this has come up more than once, but you had mentioned that you went into the corporate world because that was the expectation, right? From parents or family or friends or whatever it is. Society sometimes pushes us there, but you found your way. And I love your story that you did eventually find that path. Well done. Just wanted to mention that. It's very common, very common.
Absolutely. I didn't even question it. You know, I'm like, I'm going to go to school, get a job. And that was the modeling also around me. I didn't have
culture
around me. So I didn't even know this path existed. So that's kind of how that worked.
So then let me ask you then, obviously there was lots of challenges when you're shifting that mindset from what people expect to what you actually wanted. What was maybe one of the biggest obstacles you had to overcome throughout that journey?
Well, the fear and the uncertainty of the unknown, and I was a very secure, structured person, planner, all the stuff. You know, I was also taught all of these in my roles, right? So I had a lot of very results driven. They now call it masculine energy, whatever it is. But I had a lot of that. So when I came out as an entrepreneur, it was like almost I had to shift so many of my mindset and the things that I was there into more of the purpose part of things, like ensuring that I'm building relationships, right? That I get to do that. Shifting my whole mindset from employee to being an entrepreneur, that as an employee, you do the work, you get paid. As an entrepreneur, you do the work, you might not get paid. You don't get paid.
Right? Very true. The ups and downs of entrepreneurship.
You're planting seeds for years to come, or months or years, right? And I'm like, whoa, like I didn't know.
Very different.
Very, very different. So I would say those were some of the main ones. And then my other one is learning about my worth as a woman. What is it that I brought to the table? Understanding how to give myself the authority, the articulation I needed to find the right people that were going to pay really well for the services that I offered. So a lot of work around that area as well. Going from thinking that, I don't know if I deserve like all this money that I'm asking for, because I was getting paid pretty well as an executive, but go out on your own is a different thing with the way that you want to price your services, especially in the service industry. It's so easy to be so much more perception based, because you don't have a physical product where people can perceive the value. So a lot of those, a few of those, I would say, were some of the biggest challenges that I encountered just going out on my own.
And certainly about the value, right? I mean, I talk to a lot of my business clients about, well, what is your value, especially around service? It's not about being the cheapest out there. It's about what is your value? What do you bring to the table, and how can you help others, right? I mean, it's certainly a mindset for sure. It's a mindset shift.
Yeah, and what I learned, Tara, is that it's not about my value. It's about the results I'm able to provide for the client.
Their value. Yes, that's actually, yes.
So that was what you bring. I love that. Anytime you remove yourself from any of the equation, you do much better. Just like anything that is scary. I'm like, okay, I'm here for the people. Focus on who you're serving. So that's always like a great direction shifter. But I realized not about, my own inner work with value had to be my work either way, right? It's not, that should not be projected to the service of the clients, because the clients come in to you for their problem that they want to solve, right? So articulation of the value that you are providing for that transformation is all they care about. So I'm like, okay, good, I can detach it.
It's like there's two there. There's understanding your own value and understanding theirs and serving them, and that's exactly right. I want to kind of talk a little bit about something you had mentioned to me, which is more about teams. And you had mentioned to me that you had led some record-breaking teams in your former executive roles. And I know we have some leaders out there who are listening who might be, maybe they're having some challenges with their teams. Is there any way Or maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your leadership style or what you did to achieve team successes like that.
Yeah, I love the question because I was one of the top regions in my company, and people would always come and ask about why did I have the highest engaged teams, but also the highest, we call it customer delight scores.
Yes, I love that. That's a good one.
But what I take it back to be is being a servant leader, meaning that if I could unite people around the same values, vision, and mission, and really give them what I'm always looking for, which is how does the work that I do contribute to the bigger thing, right? I think everyone wants to be part of that bigger thing and understand that, I am a contributing member towards that. The other thing with teams is really understanding where are their strengths and where are their opportunities. Absolutely. And how to align the roles that you either create or you have in your company to kind of put people where they shine the best.
Yes.
That's leveraging their skills, and for them, that's easy, right? And for you, it's easier because you don't have to reinvest and reteach certain things. If it comes natural for people, then obviously they're going to shine because it's natural gifts and abilities. And of course, if you want to improve up, give people feedback for improvement, that's always necessary as well, because people want to grow. So I think it really starts with your values and your vision and mission. If you as a CEO live and breathe these values, then your people are going to automatically, come around that culture. So you have to almost be the leader, the role model for the team.
Yes.
And they will follow along. So maybe growth is one of your values in your company. Your team, the people that come under you, they will understand that that's what it is. And I would say growth and contribution is the two things most people want in any environment that they work in, right? Because we all know those are the needs of the soul, and those are meeting the needs at the highest level. That is why I left, because I know how I contributed and how it was growing. And nowadays, especially after COVID, teams, they want to understand that they're part of a bigger thing, and they want to grow. Their personal development is also very important. One of the common denominators I saw in my company that I was already coaching, but I didn't call it coaching, right? Because every time I would have conversations with my team regarding succession planning or performance improvement or anything like those type of conversation, it was always back to their personal blocks, their personal things, limitations, and all of that. So very early on, I even piloted a lot of programs because I was in HR, to include both of those aspects, the professional development and also the personal development. Because unless you have both, then you're just tackling the one thing, but it's like this is already the hidden thing that is blocking their professional development. So I would say those are some of the main common denominators. And also just be a good human. Appreciate people. Don't be a jerk. Right?
Yes, gratitude.
Be a leader. Don't micromanage people. Empower them. Let them make mistakes. Let them try things. Empower them to do the right thing, and just take them back, connect them to those values at all times. And
love it.
You that kind of environment, you don't have to worry. I always say, that's the leader versus a manager. You don't have to worry. Your people will operate under those values. And if mistakes are made, they have ownership. And anytime someone has ownership, they came up with something, right? They will be more than willing to execute on that versus it came from me or you or someone else from the outside. So let them be more internally driven, and that,
I love that. I remember a time years and years ago, before I was leading the company, that I made a big mistake. And the first thing I did was I called my boss who was running the site, and I'm like, I just did this. What should I do? I owned it, because we had that feeling of inclusiveness and of openness where we were allowed to make mistakes and have our leaders help us with fixing them. And so I love that you did that. And I think it is a great way to lead a team. So One of the other things that you had mentioned to me that you like to talk about is aligning life and business on purpose. And maybe this goes along with the values as well. But life and either being a business owner or even a leader can be difficult because things happen. What would you say, maybe in your practice, is the most common challenge you hear when it comes to that aligning life and business on purpose?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one is all the distractions that are out
yes.
there. Right?
Huge.
So, when you're trying to listen in and operate from within, not from the outside, in whatever important decision you have to make, whether it's your personal life or your business, which many times for entrepreneurs and CEOs, there's a very fine line between both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're someone that's passionate about the work you do, and it's pretty much your life's mission, your company. It's like your baby.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting a lot of energy into it, and you believe in the cause,
the
way that it really makes impact in other people's lives. It's very hard to really, put a thin line between your personal life and your business priorities. So I would have the clarity, minimize distractions, and have the clarity that you are looking for, so that you can intentionally work on those most important priorities in both areas. Mm-hmm. Not everything is important. Our brain does a great job, and especially with all this information that we're being bombarded from all over the place, our brain just goes to survival and always thinks everything is important.
Yes.
So having that clarity, those days in your life or company where you just sit and you do strategic planning, right?
I love it. Yeah.
Strategically plan for your life and business on purpose. That's definitely the very important piece around, even if the itty bitty things don't happen in your day to day. If you have made progress and moved along the right projects, the right priorities that you have, then you are still very productive, even if you work those two things for that day. So that, like, thinking differently from just being busy, just being productive, just being efficient, like all these things that we are built to believe. We're not robots. I find the best ideas for my company when I am in quietness, when I am I'll talk about the spiritual side as well, because I think it's important.
Yes, go ahead.
In meditation, or when I am going within for certain things and figuring out what the right next step would be for me. What does a no feel like? What does a yes feel like for me? Yeah. Right. So kind of going within, I think, is one of the skills that I'm so glad that I did a lot of my inner work to figure out that we all have the intuition, which we are not really taught how to use. And as CEOs or conscious leaders for our companies, you have the most amazing tool inside of you. So why wouldn't you want to use that? But that obviously is something that you need to sharpen over time. But I would say those are some of the most important things for aligning your life and business on purpose and ensuring that you're working smart and not hard. I mean, who wants to work hard?
Yes. I love that.
I don't believe in none of that. I mean, I get one idea and I execute it fast, and I don't need 20 years to get a major result, just like we are told, like, work hard. I mean, yes, you have to take action. I'm not saying that you just sit around and things will happen. But you take aligned action, you take conscious action, and the more you raise your consciousness as a leader, the more you could see bigger things. So where you are moving forward, because I think you asked me the catalyst question. I've always been, now I've learned that I'm a visionary leader through a lot of tests, a lot of self-awareness, a lot of work that I've done internally. So, for me, it's looking at what working 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead in the future, right? And anticipating the trends, seeing the economy, seeing what the market is, seeing where the industry is. And the only way that you will make those really healthy decisions is if you raise your consciousness so your eyes could see beyond the limits that we have. And you make decisions out of limits, that's it. Those decisions are going to be decisions out of your limitations. So that is the one skill that I'm always sharpening, and I invest a lot of time and energy into it.
And it's almost like a muscle, right? Muscles will atrophy if you don't work them. And so you're right, it's something you've got to continually work at. And I also want to touch very briefly on your idea of when you go into yourself and into meditation. Me, I go to my happy place, like outside, somewhere away from the desk when you're really trying to come up with strategy. Because if you're at your common workplace, your common desk, you're going to be limited, right? And I'm sure you experience this as well. But when you're within a happy place, in a meditation, somewhere calming, your mind thinks differently than it does with all the work clutter, so to speak, around you. So I love that you mentioned that. I think that's an amazing thing that all leaders really do need to consider when they are looking at strategy, is just get away from everything. Don't let everything that's around you limit that ability to think about that. Right? So I love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think what happens when you are in your day-to-day routine is that your brain is working to solve the next problem.
Exactly.
It's so hard
yeah.
to just break free and just like let your brain loose and let it process whatever information it wants to process.
Yes.
Let the ideas kind of roll in there. I think that's what it is. I could see like how I am day to day when I have my agenda and my brain is thinking of the next thing and the next thing and solution to the thing.
Like, get away from it.
I need to, settle, or the next problem I need to solve. So I think that's why when you're outside of that, then you can breathe and let all the stuff process. And then that's where the great information and wisdom comes to you.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, and something that I do and have done for a very long time. Let me ask you, what do you think is the biggest part of leadership in order to lead effectively, besides what we've already discussed so far, with aligning life and with values teams? Is there anything else that you think could help us lead effectively when it comes to having more balance around leadership and personal life, or around our businesses?
I think it's the concept of that I always talk about, which is more of a holistic look to anything we do. So rather than be, just focused on the one area of your life that you are, you want to move forward or you want to make progress towards, then try to make the rest of your other parts of your life a priority as well. And if it's almost like you are like me and see it like a big business, then make that a business priority to go on a date with your husband or wife.
I love it. I love it.
Time with your kids. If you have more of an executive brain like I do, then do it like that. Whatever is going to ensure that you have an holistic approach. Your health is number one, I always say.
Oh, yeah.
I always rank things like by order of priority. I always say health is number one, relationships are number two. So take care of your health, ensure that you have time for your most loved relationships, important relationships in your life. And then maybe, your business and financial health can be together, because usually if you are one doing that, you're probably working towards that anyway. And then whatever other area, right? Your hobbies, your passions, all those other things that make you an overall good human being and make you fulfilled. Because, we've seen millions of examples of people that are just maybe successful in one area, but miserable in so many other areas. So, I really the purpose of going for this, because I don't know if I want to trade all the rest of the things that are important to me. So I think that's one with leadership. And the other one is always work on your personal development for life. Make your personal growth one of the most important parts of your life journey. And Absolutely. I guarantee you that whatever you do internally, personally, will always mirror into your business growth. Always be growing if that is one of your your important, very important values. So I would say make your personal growth a lifelong commitment, and always learn, grow, read, always learn, information. The more you know, the more you will see that you there is
can do even. No, I love it. I'm a lifelong learner. So I want to quick touch back on that one thing where you were talking about, like, when it comes to relationships, like thinking, and you're an executive, you book that appointment. So I tell a lot of my clients, you put it in your day planner or whatever you use for work as one of those most important meetings you've ever had, and you can't cancel it. but it's with your family or your friends or whatever that is that you need. It's almost like one of those medical appointments you waited for like a year and you're not going to cancel it. That's what those appointments should look like. So another great topic that you brought up that made me think of that as well. Thank you so much for bringing that up. So what is that big tip then? Like that, if you put all of these things together, that big tip you want to leave our audience with today, and maybe they can start it in the next few weeks as an action, but what would that look like for you?
I would really recap all of the things that I said so far, Tara, in one big thing: self-discovery.
I love it.
You discover your gifts, you learn, you grow, you develop skills, you gain experience, and all these things that happen, the more you can stay in your area of genius, they call it, or whatever you might want to call it. So that you really do feel like you're living your life out of purpose and meaning, and then surround yourself with all the rest of the complementing pieces around you, or people or systems or whatever you need to do, or projects or decisions or investments or any of that. So surround yourself with all of that and stay in your position of genius in that phase and stage that you might be in, because obviously different phases and stages that changes because your priorities change and your goals and your objectives change. I don't think it's a position you stay in forever, but that's the human evolution. You are evolving. And that's back to human potential. One of the backbones of my company is helping people realize the human potential through the channels of entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. This is a lifelong process. We will never reach any destination. We're always evolving. But whatever area of phase and stage you're in, the more you can invest in self-discovery, and the more you have to complement all the rest of the things that you need to surround yourself with to move forward the right priorities, you will always be fine. You'll be fulfilled. You wouldn't be burned out. All those things that happen when you're trying to be all to everybody. And always question the why behind your decisions. I've become very, very disciplined in this lately.
Me too.
There's several layers deep. There's like resources online, like always questioning, why do you want to do something? Why do you want to move a project forward? Why do you want to make the impact you want to make? Because if you start uncovering, and yes, that is deep work, and most people shy away from the truth. But I always say the truth sets you free, because then you are making your decisions out of the right place, not from lack or from need of validation from someone or from lack of love for yourself, or all those things that happen underneath our, the core. So question your why at all times and challenge it at all times.
I love it. And even in manufacturing, there's the 5 whys as a method to get down to a root cause. But us humans, we love the answer to the question why. Why do I need to do this? Why is this goal important? Why am I part of this team? As you alluded to earlier, knowing our purpose. I love it. Great tip for everybody. Thank you so much, Elona. So if our guests wanted to learn more about you or find you somewhere online, how would they do that?
Yeah, thank you so much, Tara. So they can go to LopariCoaching.com. It's pretty much my host of the hub for all the work, all the things that I do. Awesome. And they can get a free masterclass on there on how to build a legacy purpose-driven company with all those fundamentals that I mentioned at the beginning. So yeah, they can go check out my website. That's the best place to visit.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show, and great tips and information today. I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you for inviting me. And again, I really hope the information and what I shared was valuable for your audience today. Thanks for a great podcast, and keep shining, keep spreading your message.
Thank you. You too. And of course, a thank you to our audience. We hope you gained some valuable information and tips from Elona today. If you are new to leadership, or even a seasoned leader who knows that leadership coaching, consulting, and community are the way to grow on your leadership journey, please visit us at amplifyingleadership.ca, a twin life coaching and business services division. Until next time, please be safe and be an amazing leader, or leader to be.